What's going on, everybody? This is Dan French Workbench Podcast here on a Tuesday, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Those of you just waiting in the waiting room, we love this. We're streaming live here from Las Vegas, and we want to thank everybody out there for tuning in and also supporting the channel. Please, if you guys have not supported the channel, hit that like button. Also, subscribe if you like the content. We love that. This is the channel that's the most real and behind the scenes information regarding financing, real estate, money talk, entrepreneurs, educating through on-job experience here in Las Vegas. Is there an opportunity to flip a home in this market? You know, it seems like a lot of investors are coming into this market and snatching up homes. We got Blackstone, a lot of these big investors, hedge fund investors coming in, finding out what they're going to do with those properties. Also, we're going to talk about market updates. We're going to talk about why somebody would use an estate attorney and when that actually takes place. And then also we're going to go through some of the stories and things that he has to talk about and some of the education he's going to provide. And we're going to talk about home buyers. And home buyers right now, they are losing their buying power. Their purchasing power is dwindling. FHA buyers out the door, right? So unfortunately, that's the situation. Now, we want everybody to have an opportunity to get into a home, but we're not seeing that. And we're seeing that only 28% of people out there, which has declined from 32% to 28%, think that now is a good time to buy a home. You know, you can think it like some of these big investors, how they think opposite and say, well, I'm going to buy when everybody else isn't buying. I think there was a big investor that said that, but I don't know. I mean, you'd be obviously overpaying for the home. We are seeing some data, though, that's starting to ease up a little bit in this market.
I don't know if it's obvious.
What's that?
I don't know if it's obvious. I mean, who knows?
I think it's very subtle. You know, I think, and you're starting to get to a point where we might not have hit that peak, but I feel that we're starting to get close to that. So a lot of people out there in the markets, you know, we're going to talk to Kit here. He's a realtor out there. He goes out and he knows what these clients are going through. So with these buyers out there and with the market, I feel that there's a lot of people. We're going to start here and talk about what's going on in the housing market with this situation. I feel like a lot of buyers out there have just lost faith altogether. The average buyer out there just does not want to buy a home. Maybe they're pushing this off till October, November.
Is it because it's too expensive? What's the deal?
Well, I think it's a lot of the competition. The unfortunate thing is about a month ago, it's actually slowing down a little bit. A month ago, you'd be one of 20 offers, right? You'd be like, good luck buying in Summerlin if you weren't paying over asking without an appraisal.
Right.
But now, at least I'm finding with my properties that I'm selling, it's no longer 15 offers. It's maybe 3 or 4. And so it's dwindling a little bit, but I think that's because of what you just said, though. A lot of them left the market due to just frustration, right?
Yeah.
It's similar in like economic data when somebody's talking about people looking to get a job, right? In the labor force data, when people just stop looking for a job because they get discouraged because they can't get a job that they want, right? Similar thing in the housing market. They just feel like they can't get the house of their dreams, so why bother? Why
Yes.
bother?
Well, it's so time consuming to find the house that you want to put an offer on.
Oh, yeah.
And to just constantly be, told no.
So I have a couple buyers right now that I've been working with for the last couple months, and I know some of the problems that we're running into is it's also the lack of inventory. They don't have the choices that they necessarily want in some of the properties that they're looking at. The competition has gotten better,
Sure,
but they don't have as much inventory to choose from. A lot of the neighborhoods that they want to buy in, there just aren't homes for sale in some of them. And then I know that at least with some of my buyers, they see that there's been a 23% price increase since last year.
100%.
And some of them are thinking, maybe that's going to come down. Maybe I should wait 6 months. Maybe I should see what's going to happen 6 months from now.
I think the data shows opposite of that, though, because I mean, if you look at there's this article that me and my partner, we just thought it was like a clickbait article. Basically, the headline was like, Las Vegas is the least affordable place to live in America, and I was like, are you kidding me? Have you looked at Phoenix? Have you looked at Salt Lake? Have you looked at Denver?
San Francisco?
What about LA? When
Right.
the median home price is $700,000 in
Right.
LA, and average income is nowhere near that.
Right.
Las Vegas, the median income right now is what? 46,000?
I think it's a little higher
it's
than
up.
that.
It's a little higher?
Yeah,
Is
it's
it-
probably
is it-
closer to 60, but still.
That's not quite that. Phoenix is 62,
Yeah.
I think. I think it's
Yeah.
a little less than Phoenix, but Phoenix went up, I think, 40% in the last year. So the headline really should have said Phoenix is the least affordable place. I think you got to look at affordability based on median income and median house price, right? And how they work together. Denver is opposite. I think median price is well above 400,000, and their income is nowhere near affordability factors for that.
When you have this much, I wouldn't say negativity, but this much doubt in the housing market to buy at this point, maybe just because of discouragement. You know, we're thinking, you're talking about a lot of buyers out there that were looking for homes. They can't afford these homes anymore. A lot of them internally, right? Vegas, you're saying what's the average median wage earning, right?
Yeah.
That's a problem because I think where everybody's getting the problem, or not the problem, but where everybody's getting where they're like, hey, I don't want all these people, out-of-state buyers coming. It's driving the market up and it's going to push me out of buying a house altogether. I think that the situation is that when you look at pushing everybody out of the market because out-of-state buyers are driving these prices up, it's causing people to have less faith in going and buying at this time, and they might be pushing it out maybe towards the end of the year. Are you seeing that with buyers right now, both you guys that are out there, like they're just like, you know what, this is not my market?
Absolutely. I think the short answer is yes. People are fleeing from buying homes just because they feel it's overpriced and they can't afford it, really. I mean, an average Nevadan that is working at a casino, hospitality, they just can't afford this housing market. And if they do want to buy a house, it's in a neighborhood that's probably not their first choice.
So how is that affecting your business as far as like, because you're buying, all right, you buy a house discounted, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess you have capital to fork over that cash.
Yes.
Okay, and then what's your turnaround to get that?
Usually we turn the house around within 3 to 4 months.
3 to 4 months?
Yeah, typically.
What's your average spending in repair costs?
It's gone up with the pandemic.
Yeah, that's what I was curious about.
So lumber went up like 400% over the last year. It was a joke.
There was a fire too, right? That messed that up as well.
Well, no, it was supply chain issues. So a lot of the suppliers thought that the pandemic was going to create like less movement in the market, and actually it didn't happen. So it happened for like a month and a half, and it freaked everybody out. All the suppliers, the flooring, the wood,
right,
everybody. And so when it realized that actually the housing market took off, and after people stopped freaking out and cleaning off their groceries, they were like, oh, we didn't produce enough lumber, and now it's back ordered.
Yeah, Rich,
I was just going to throw in after that too, that with kind of going back to the what's discouraging buyers, and the one thing that I have talked to with a couple of buyers that I'm working with right now is that even though prices have gone up, you have to look at where mortgage interest rates are, and they are so much lower than they have been historically.
Absolutely.
So I've tried to have, I've had that good discussion with them about like, I know.
And
the
where are
price
they
is
going to go? I mean,
well, and that's the thing. Mortgage rates are not going to stay where they are. They are going to have to go up. They can't stay this low. They've already gone up from where they were, a few months ago, or at least where they were like maybe 6 months ago. I mean, not a whole lot, but they're not.
Well, I mean,
but they're not going to stay at 2.5%. They're going to have to start raising rates at some point. And at least right now, even if your house has gone up $50,000 in value, the 2% less on your mortgage from what it was a few years ago, your payments are not going to be
right.
It probably might even be less depending on that price points in your mortgage rate.
Yeah, I mean, as inflation goes too. I mean, we talk about this. Inflation's a big deal. I think it's been like 1979 or 78. That's as high as we've been on inflation. And we're starting to see these numbers. Yeah, it's a huge number right now.
Was it that high though?
Well, I think it was pretty high. I mean, that's some of the data I've been reading.
Jimmy Carter days. Woo!
Yeah, Jimmy Carter days, right?
A couple of weeks ago, 12 months is 5.2%.
Yeah,
which isn't by itself an extremely
5 point. I don't know if it's that high. Okay. I would say it's probably closer to 4, maybe 3.5.
Sorry,
4.
I didn't mean to miss. But
yeah.
Oh, you're good.
In a normal year, that's not too alarming. But the thing about it is the rate at which it increased. I think that's the alarming part.
But it is the things that have brought it up so high too. It's only certain parts of the market, like cars, because they have a chip shortage, or lumber because they, for whatever reason, I don't know exactly why, but they had this lumber shortage, or the price of lumber went super high. And I do think that some of the stuff will come down as supply chains get back.
Yeah, I've heard builders are waiting for refrigerators to be delivered,
air conditioning parts.
Yeah,
like that.
That's tough.
But some of that stuff should get back to normal.
These
as the
will
begins to function normally. It's just how long is that going to take?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, here's an example. I'm going to give a real life example. I was delayed in filing my taxes because I had my firstborn, like literally the day that taxes.
Congratulations.
So I said, told my accountant, file extension.
Baby dragon.
We'll get it done, whatever, next month. So I filed last month. And apparently I was owed all the stimulus stuff that had been backdated.
And you want to get that child tax credit too.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I get checks sent $9,000 because they didn't. I guess they didn't pay me enough, whatever. But
for the stimulus.
And you talk about
it's a lot of money.
inflation.
Yeah.
What that did to my psychology, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna chill the rest of the night. Like this is ridiculous, right? Yeah. If that happens to everybody else, that's the effect of a lot of inflation is that you everybody starts spending, and Well, I don't recommend you spend a make or save it. But my point is, I think that has a lot to do with what we're seeing. Rich, what is your life story though? Let's back up a second. I want to know about Rich here.
I gotta leave some of it out.
Rich, you got
censor some of it.
Everybody's got closets, man. You know,
Saturdays we open up the closets. Tuesdays strictly business.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna keep it to
but
I'll keep it to the G-rated.
I got a thing about it. So some of these buyers out there, they're out there and they're looking for things to buy, and some of the challenges. And we know that we'll talk to him about some of the challenges. What are some of the challenges that you're going through personally with, like, give us some experiences that some people are actually dealing with while you're in the trenches? Because I think people really want to know. We all know the stigmas that there's not a lot of homes, prices are going crazy, but what are you actually going through with borrowers? And I feel like agents are somewhat of being like a therapist where they got to kind of guide the situation, right?
Well, one of my borrowers, actually right now, the thing we're doing is we're working on her credit. So that's kind of not even really real estate. We're just, I mean, it is, but we're working on her credit.
But it's real. I mean, people, not everybody's going to have great credit, especially coming maybe out of this situation we had.
Yeah, we've had that credit repair guy on the show, and I mean, it's real.
Yeah,
I understand what you're dealing with.
So, and I mean, she's in a good position. She's got plenty of funds that she inherited from a parent, but and her husband's they can get a VA loan and things like that, but neither of them had credit. So, like with them, we've just been working on their credit, getting unsecured cards.
So are they just discouraged? They're just like, hey, I'm outside the market. I don't want to be. I don't want to even try because.
So that's taken a while. We've been every week. I'm never gonna get there, And I'm like, no, we look at your credit score now. We're like 10 points away from the last time we talked to the mortgage company, and they said that was the bottom score that we needed to get you that VA loan. So, but one of my other buyers, I think this was in like May, so this is a few months ago, and things I think have gotten a little bit better since May, but we were looking in some very it was a very confined area. It was, I want this neighborhood. Yeah. And so that always makes it a little bit harder. But, the few houses that we put offers in, there was, I think one of the houses, we got there the day it got listed, we put in an offer the next morning, and they'd already, been accepted because they'd had 20 offers above list price by, like 15, 20 grand or something like that.
Got you.
And so with him, it was just that we put in several offers, and then it was, okay, let's just stop and wait for a while.
Sure.
And so he's just holding back now. And so, and I keep telling him, well, but with him, it's more of I want this very specific neighborhood. So each buyer, they have their own, they bring their own caveats to the table that sometimes make it harder to get that deal for them.
Right.
But at least with my one buyer, we're waiting now because it was too hard, and now there's just nothing for sale.
Yeah, I think it's you're looking up at a big, it's a challenge. Like you got a big mountain to climb. Yeah. And especially if you got credit issues, you got some problems. Like it's not problems, but people know that there's hurdles that they have to overcome. And when you have multiple things that need to take place and you're in a market that's already tough, it's appreciating and prices keep going up. If you're an average buyer out there, FHA buyer that, can put the minimum down, you're probably looking at this thing going, man, why am I even doing, why am I trying? I think there's discouragement out there for people. So I don't know. I think investors right now seem like they're just the ones out there starting to kind of creep into this market and pull in some of these properties.
Right. And your point as far as being discouraged about a situation, which, hey, things happen to everybody a lot. You're not in the same boat. So, Rich, you've been in this business for 10 years. It sounds like you're focused on real estate, helping out people with credit and stuff, or thing. So if somebody's listening right now, they've got a low credit score or something like that, what's the first thing you would, tell them? Like a piece of advice?
Are we talking about a buyer?
Yeah, a buyer. Look, maybe he's buying a house or something, or just, wants to raise the credit, just doesn't feel like they can't do it.
Well, I'd say, first of all, don't give up. That's probably the first and most important thing, because I think that's where pretty much everyone gets in their own way. And I think a lot of people, like we were talking about, is just don't get discouraged. Like it's easy to get discouraged. You can always find a reason why you can't do something or why something's not going to happen.
Thank you for watching an episode of the French Workbench podcast. If you want to tune into past episodes, please subscribe to my channel now. Also, if you want to look at our audio only options, we do have iTunes and SoundCloud.